Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hello and welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols. I am your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday, you guys. Happy WrestleMania Sunday, you guys. I am super excited to be coming to you guys this Sunday while actually watching WrestleMania, so don't be surprised if I give you some heads up on what's going on. I don't know where you guys will be watching that, but I'm watching on Peacock, and it's the triple threat match for the U.S. title. WrestleMania has been pretty good so far this year, and so just really enjoying that. Shout out to my family out there. I know you guys are watching it too. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening enjoying the show. And I hope you guys enjoy this show that I have to bring to you, Palm Tree Sports Radio, every Sunday night at 9 p.m., just in case you guys were wondering. Yes, we were Saturday at 6 p.m., but my Saturday has become a bit, how can I say, jumbled up in a way. It's become such a vibrant day that, I had to move it over. So, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging with me here on Palm Tree Sports Radio on this Sunday evening. As I said, moving forward every Sunday evening, you guys can expect me here in this chair to be giving to you the information that's coming out of the Sunshine State. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the action. First things first, Taryn, my brother, it's always good to see you. I appreciate it. And yes, we are having a wonderful evening. Let's have an even more wonderful show, you guys. Now, full disclosure, you guys know I'm always going to give you this if my show is going to end up being a little shorter than normal. Y'all know what normal is. I like to keep it between that 45-minute to hour-long period, but this show will be probably shorter, just, again, due to the fact that we have no, football going on right now. College basketball just wrapped up, and, so with some of those being put away, it's going to be shorter, but don't worry, sooner than later, we will be back to covering all those sports once they return to form. And speaking of basketball, let's actually go ahead and get some congratulations in order and get that out of the way. So, first things first, South Carolina, stand up. You guys have completed the perfect season with a regular season championship over Iowa. I have a few emotions about this as Randy hits an RKO out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. But, just back to the basketball bit, guys. South Carolina completed the perfect season, 38-0, be the record. Congratulations to them on a national championship. Congratulations on defeating who I thought would take it all in Iowa. They looked absolutely amazing against LSU. I fully expected them to carry that success over. I actually watched that game, and I have to admit, I'm a huge Angel Reese fan. I love her. I think she's beautiful. She was playing very well, and then she got injured, and things just weren't the same, and she tried to tough it out and, show the world who she was, and congratulations to her. But Caitlin was on fire that night, you guys, and at that point I thought Caitlin Clark was just the best ball player in women's basketball, in college basketball, that is. And to see her get down by South Carolina, well, the truth also is the game before this one, there was a really bad call at the end of that game that most likely shifted that decision to Iowa, and perhaps things would have been different otherwise. I mean, who really knows, right? So, again, congratulations, excuse me, I can't English, you guys. Congratulations, South Carolina. I'm super proud of them for what they were able to do, bringing the NCAA National Women's Championship back to the SEC. Like I said, congratulations, you guys. You guys deserve it. Caitlin, I feel for you. You're an absolutely phenomenal ball player. I can't wait to see what you do in the WNBA. And, I just wish her the best moving forward. She's an absolute sniper. Being able to watch her play a couple of times was just absolutely incredible. She's a great talent. I look forward to seeing what she does moving forward. Both her and Angel Reese, I'm huge fans of. Juju Watkins, of course, is going to be something special, of course, as she continues to grow at USC. And again, the teamwork that South Carolina possessed this year was just absolutely phenomenal. It goes to show you that teamwork truly does indeed make the dream work. So that's what's going on there for the women's. For the men's, obviously, going to be Purdue versus UConn for the championship. UConn, not a big surprise. That's a team that knows how to rise to the occasion. They've done it multiple times before. Purdue, this is their first NCAA championship appearance for college men's basketball, I think, since 1969. So congratulations for Purdue. I know it's got to be madness on that campus right now. So again, just so proud of what they're able to accomplish. Good job, boys. Gators, hey, you guys did well. You made it to the big dance. You lost to Colorado, so it is what it is, but may we come back bigger, better than ever, and good luck to you guys in the summertime. So that's what's going on in college basketball. You guys had to get that out there. The match also has concluded through a match for WrestleMania. For those of you who were watching, we saw what happened there, but Logan Paul was able to defend his U.S. championship against Randy Orton, and unfortunately, I'm not a big Paul fan, guys, for the record. For those of you who are, hey, listen, more power to you. I'm not a fan at all, and I don't like Prime. I think the drink's actually a bad drink. Like, I don't think it's healthy for us. But, hey, that's just neither here. There's just a quick opinion about that out there. But back to the Florida sports. And, yes, Ralph, I see you there, brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, having you guys here at this time. It's a very special junction. And we just hit 70 episodes, guys. We just hit 70 episodes. The 70th episode tonight. So, big deal. Especially now being on Sunday night, so I really appreciate it, okay? But yeah, so Bucks, guys, Bucks. Now, there is no football, but I do have some information there. The Bucks did sign edge rusher Randy Gregory to a 1-year deal. It's a $3 million contract with upwards up to 5. We're going to see how it happens. I think that they really got him more so for the body than really for him to like, obviously we want him to perform, but obviously that body is also going to be very helpful, being able to take, when you have such a dominant interior, being able to get them one-on-ones is just as good as getting them a sack, right? Like, even just the pressure of being on the interior that much is that much more disrupting than from the edge, and it really creates an era of a discrepancy for the quarterback. They now have to decide, okay, I can't step up. Now I need to roll out, and if you roll out, you could be rolling out into the hands of a Yaya Diaby or Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, or now Randy Gregory. So you can kind of see what Todd Bowles is trying to do there defensively. Randy Gregory's frame helps match what they're trying to do, and I think that could potentially be something special for the Bucks. But we'll have to wait and see. He hasn't been exactly that good. Since he's come into the league, he's been all right. He's nothing that stands out. I wouldn't call him special, but we'll see what he's able to do and how he's able to perform. And best of luck to him as he comes over here. And Shaq Barrett, again, who I was able to meet a few weeks back, wonderful man, by the way, headed down to Miami. So that's the deal with the Bucks. The Jags don't really have anything going on. There's possible trade rumors about them getting Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening at all, to be honest with you. It could, but okay, then what? Because Trevor Lawrence still has to play better. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. Until he starts to play like he did in college, there's not much they can do. There's just not much that they can do. So, take that, guys, with a grain of salt, but also take it for what it is. And then, obviously, for Miami, the Dolphins, they have rumors swirling around them that their interest in Odell Beckham Jr. is also a shared interest with him to Miami. So that's something else for us to consider. Odell Beckham Jr. on Miami actually has a lot of potential to be absolutely phenomenal. When you look at the fact that Tariq and Jalen Waddle bring so much speed to the table, and that what they're able to do offensively would allow Odell Beckham to kind of just roam free under the safeties. And having Odell roaming free under the safeties will eventually get those safeties to creep up in the box and force double teams in areas that they don't want to force double teams. I think that's the significance that Odell would bring to that offense, making a complicated offense more complicated for defenses to try and defend against, because you can't just put a linebacker on Odell and think that that's going to be okay and that your safeties are going to be able to handle everything. I do, and Taryn, that's a great point. Yes, don't the Dolphins have enough receivers? Well, it's weird. What they have is two number ones, right? and then a bunch of number 3 and 4s, but they don't really have a true number 2 because we can try to put Jalen at number 2, but we saw when Tariq was out that Jalen was able to just pop off and go nuts, right? So when that's the case, and obviously when Jalen's hurt, Tariq is just going to go nuts because that's what he does. He's the fastest man in the NFL. So, it's ironic that we think that because, so I'll give you an example of what this reminds me of. Obviously, being a Buccaneer fan, I don't have to go too far back in time. But you guys remember when Tom came and he brought AB, okay? So before the CT stuff really destroyed him and that Jets game listen, say what you want, but you go back and look at that team, and if AB keeps his head together, I don't see how the Buccaneers don't repeat. Okay, I mean, the Rams had every opportunity in the book, and we were still within range. And I also think that with the drama that was surrounding the team, not just with AB, but that the rest of that drama really concluded that any chance that we had at another Super Bowl. And that's just something to take in consideration because think about that receiving core, guys. It was Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Gronkowski. Okay, like what? Who decided that was going to be a good idea to put those guys on a team with Tom Brady? Like, whoa, that's a destructive offense right there. And we saw that, right? Well, this is something else that they're trying to emulate. You have the guy who can do the job in the pocket as long as he makes good decisions in Tua Tagovailoa, and then you have this speedster on the outside, Tyreek Hill, who just automatically requires a double team, as we've seen throughout his career. If you don't double him, he's open, okay? Just by his sheer speed alone and ability to create space. Well, then you add Jalen Waddle, which is going to force more double teams to individual receivers versus safeties watching a frame of the field, right? Which is where they find success in because that's the Tampa 2. That's how the Tampa 2 works. Now you're adding Odell Beckham, a seasoned veteran and still pretty fast receiver who one-on-one is still better than most defensive backs in the league can guard. I'd say unless your number 1 is on Odell, he's not one-on-one-ing him, okay? Odell's route running is actually very, very good. So, Miami's in an area where they have a potential to make this offense even more potent than it was a year before, but I will also say, I said all that to still agree with you, Taryn. It doesn't matter what you can do on offense if you have no defense. And you look at 90% of the teams that have won Super Bowls, they did so with a top 5 or a top 10 defense. Period. The end. I don't care. You can go whatever area you want. You go Seahawks, Broncos, Bucks. Who was it before that? Before the Chiefs and before the Bucks, it was drawing a blank here, guys. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like, the point is you got to have a good defense. We actually saw that, right? When you look at the Chiefs. Right? So the Chiefs, they won a Super Bowl against the 49ers. They did it by outlasting the 49ers, so good for them. And then after that, we saw the Chiefs, get destroyed by Tampa Bay. Why? Well, Tampa Bay's defense was that freaking good. So, yeah, and obviously the Rams. There you go. Good job, Terry. That's that's what I needed because I'm thinking I know who it was, an NFC team out west, and I just was drawing a blank. But the Rams, Aaron Donald, God bless his soul, the man is unstoppable. He was literally unstoppable, okay? And you look at the rest of the players the team had, Floyd and Ramsey and oh God, what was the safety's name? That defense was stacked, okay? So, it doesn't really matter if you're going to have that tremendous potent offense. Yeah, you'll make the playoffs with that potent offense, but eventually you're going to run into a team whose defensive scheme is just that good, even if it's the Super Bowl, guys. But very rarely do you see offense go out there and just win a Super Bowl. The few times that I can say that we've seen that, they also had really great defenses. That's the thing that really makes that interesting when you look throughout history. Even when you look at the Packers, they won the first 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, they had a tremendous quarterback in Bart Starr, but they also had tremendous defenses. Okay? Miami, Baltimore, right? Like all these teams that had great offenses, they also had tremendous defenses. So I agree. They need to work on that defense. And we'll see what they do. We'll see how they address that factor. But in the meantime, between time, that's what's going on there, guys, for that. Just in case you were wondering what was going on, why you haven't heard Odell's name that much, or, that's the reason. Because pretty much Miami is the spot. So yeah, speaking of Miami, let's go ahead and transition right over into the NBA. So the Miami Heat are struggling right now, okay, guys? Listen, and they're struggling, okay? Leonard Floyd, yes, that was, well, not Leonard Floyd. I'm sorry. I was thinking when I said Floyd, I was thinking linebacker. I can't remember what his freaking name was, though. But he was a linebacker, and I don't think he plays for them anymore. The safety that I was thinking of was, he played on the same side as Jalen Ramsey, I think, that year. I think he had like 4 interceptions on the season or something like that. Like he was pretty good. The bottom line was he was good. He was good. I can't remember what his name was though. But that team specifically having Aaron Donald on it. I mean, any team with Aaron Donald on it is gonna be some type of threat. It's going to be something you're going to have to get ready for. And that's just kind of the fundamental aspect when you look at what they were able to do in their accomplishments when it came to a defensive perspective. The Super Bowl that they played in against the Patriots, right? It was a low-scoring Super Bowl. It was very low-scoring, in fact. One of the most low-scoring games in NFL history as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. And that just goes to show you how good the defenses were, right? So, but, nonetheless, like I said, the team was gifted. It was a special team. They were able to do basically what Tampa Bay did the year before that. And that even though I wasn't a fan of how that happened and when it went down, it happened and they were able to find success. And so that's what I mean with the back to the defensive bit there. But yeah, so again, back to the NBA though with the Heat. The Heat, they're struggling right now. Like I said, Tyler Hero has returned from injury, which is good, but it didn't help today. Okay, so they lost to the Pacers 117-115, 2-point ball game. And it's about what you would expect. The Pacers are just playing better team basketball at the moment. They played better in transition yesterday, and not only that, but they were also able to keep up, for the most part, and the game never really got too far away. So, when that happens, it's going to be a lot easier for a team like the Pacers. It's a younger team, but playing really good team basketball to topple a team like Miami, who's struggling with injury and struggling with their starting lineup right now. I mean, it is what it is. There's no other way to look at it. At one point in time, we were thinking that they were going to be able to continue to accomplish greatness, and at some point in time, that was going to start to run out. And right now, I just don't see this team beating pretty much any other team in a playoff series right now. So I hate that I'm saying this, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this team make a first round exit. I think they're a lot better than what they're showing, but right now 3-2 in the last 5 and not really being able to beat the better teams is definitely gonna create some doubt, to say the least. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going on there for Miami. For those who are wondering what their record was looking like, they're currently 43-35, which is good enough for 7th in the East, but that's 7th in a shaky East. There's nothing's guaranteed in the East right now. It's a lot more wide open in that top 4 slot because a team that we're going to talk about in a moment, Orlando, is surging. Obviously, you have the usual suspects: Boston, Milwaukee, in those teams that kind of stay at the top. Who more or less you expect to see. Miami's going to struggle in those games. So the next game that they have though is against the Hawks. That's going to be Tuesday, April 9th at 7:30 p.m. Guys, just remember Tuesday is going to be a busy night for sports, or what sports are available. That is, so get prepared for that. But like I said, Tuesday, April 9th, 7:30 p.m. Miami is going to play against the Hawks. The Hawks are rocking a 36-42 record. Obviously, they're not looking all that good right now. But hey, listen, we're going to see if Miami is playoff ready right now with that game, because if they're not going to be able to hang with the Hawks, that's it. I'm not gonna take it past it. I'm gonna leave it at what it is. Mind you, I love my Heat, but again, they're struggling right now at a time where they need to be surging. And speaking of surging, the team that is surging here in the state of Florida would be our very own Orlando Magic, a team that, as young as they are, is playing transcending the years at which they have experience-wise. This team is playing tremendous team basketball. Paolo Banchero looks absolutely stunning right now. The kid looks like a seasoned... I can't even express how mature he looks right now, but a seasoned, mature young man in the NBA right now, and he's been impressive, to say the least. And being able to watch him play is absolutely phenomenal. He's definitely a guy that the NBA needs to talk more about, and I know that Orlando's not a market that gets a lot of attention, nor have they been for a very long time, but right now is a really good time to start paying them attention. Like I said, Orlando's sitting at third right now in the East. That's good enough to get them in a comfortable spot with a comfortable game. They don't have to worry about playing. I'm pretty sure they're past that part at this point, and their record's 46-32. It's kind of standing for itself right now. Like I said, it's really hard to determine what's going wrong with Orlando because they're just playing so well, and I'm very proud of them. Shout out, Dad. I know you're proud of them as well. So good job to the Magic. At the end of the day, that's pretty much the point that I'm making here. They were able to beat the Bulls 113-98. Now, obviously, the Bulls aren't necessarily playing great basketball, but that's what you like to see. You like to see your team handling business, especially when it's a team that they have the ability to win and should be winning against, like the Bulls right now. Like I said, that was a 113-98 ball game. Now, the Bulls' record sitting at 35-41. They're struggling just to make 500, so I get it. That's not a feather in the cap, but it's definitely one off the list. Okay, so if Orlando keeps playing the way that they're playing right now, they're definitely gonna be deep into the second, maybe third round, of the playoffs this year, and I would love to see that. It'd be great for Orlando. So, good job, Magic. Keep up the good work. Next game gonna be against the Rockets. That game is guess when? Tuesday, April 9th, 8 p.m. So check it out. You got 30 minutes between each game, guys. You want to watch the Miami basketball? You get 30 minutes of that, and then you pop it right on over for Orlando Magic basketball. You guys will have two games going on back and forth. My apologies, guys. I'm struggling with my English today, but you get what I'm saying. Now, the Rockets are rocking a 30-40 record, one game better than what the Bulls are rocking, so there's another tune me up just to keep them fresh, before the playoffs start. And like I said, they keep playing the way that they're playing right now and building that confidence and perfecting their craft. They'll be a phenomenal team in the playoffs, guys. Just look forward to that. 4-1 of the last 5. This team's on fire. Wrong team to be talking about fire when it should be Miami, but the Magic are also able to just find their rhythm and get in the paint and just do damage there, while playing tremendous defense and great transition. If you've watched Orlando Magic basketball, then that's pretty much what their effectiveness is. And like I said, if they keep on working well as a team, it's going to be a struggle for other teams to get the best of them. So look forward to that, guys. I hope that both these teams make the playoffs, and of course Miami, they're struggling, but they obviously still have a good shot. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there as we inch closer and closer to the end of the season. Just the same thing with hockey, and when I get back, we'll actually get into a little bit of that, some MLB, some hockey, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about WrestleMania before sending you guys on your way. But I thank you guys for having it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Keep it locked here, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes with some more information for you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Locke.
And we're the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Yes, sir, everybody, and welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Now, guys, as I continue on this WrestleMania evening special edition of Palm Tree Sports Radio, which happens to be our 70th episode again, I just want to say Thank you guys. 70 episodes is something I wasn't sure I would ever get to, doing something like this. As I probably said before on this show, for those of you who have heard it, this was something that was more so my dad's dream than my own. But as I am my dad's son, I had no idea I would love doing this as much as I do. And you guys make it all worth it, and so do you, Dad. So thank you so much for always empowering me and giving me the encouragement I need to be able to pursue something like this. And I thank everybody who's out there listening. You guys, y'all really mean the world to me. It makes me feel good that I can talk about something I'm passionate about and also give you guys that information. Help out a little bit, especially if you're on the go and there's information that you're missing. It's pretty cool, guys. I really appreciate you guys. So, speaking of Jen B, Larry B, you guys are in. Hello, everybody. You guys are phenomenal. I'm so happy you're able to join me here this evening on the show. And so let's go right back into it, guys. Let's get right back into it. So, speaking of joining, baseball's back in swing. No pun intended. We've talked about it for the last couple of weeks. But now the season's really starting to get going, and we're starting to see the early blemishes on different teams. So, in regards to those early blemishes, our very own Tampa Bay Rays, who play in St. Petersburg, like, how does that work, right, guys? Like, I know we've talked about it before, but it still baffles me 30 years later, It's a Tampa Bay team that plays in St. Petersburg, but it's called Tampa Bay. Well, there's other things that are weird, like why did we ever get rid of the Devil Rays, right? Now, if that's a question you guys were wondering, I actually was informed that the term devil was a bit inciting for people, I suppose, within the industry and within the corporation. And I believe that is the reason why they end up dropping the entire Devil Rays aspect of the team and just went with Rays. I personally enjoyed the green and purple. Devil Rays, if you have a problem with it, talk to the wildlife, committee. They named them, right? Like, now we're just Rays, like rays of sunlight. And then we were playing against the Rockies. What, you didn't want to call them Grant Knight? I don't know. I'm just a little comedy minute for a second, guys. But if you guys were wondering what happened to the Devil Rays moniker, that's actually what it was. They thought the Devil was too inciting, so they wanted to just drop it to Rays. And when they did that, we ended up with these. And it takes, for the record, for those of you who do not know, it takes 8 to 9 minutes for light to travel from the sun to us. So it's a bit insulting that we'd be called the Rays. It's like we're delayed or something. I don't know. I didn't come up with it, but there you go, guys. That information is for you, just in case you were wondering what happened to it. But luckily for us, we can still order Devil Rays merchandise, and every now and again they'll bring it back just to kind of remind everybody, what the team used to be. But again, I was a huge fan of the Devil Rays. I really love that aspect of our baseball team. So. But in any case, the Devil Rays, through the first 10 games, they split 5-5. We're a middle-of-the-road team right now. We've got some things to fill out. We've got some spaces on our team that were occupied by better players than what we have at the moment, and I think that's been a real crutch for this team. I think having to lean more on our offense has been a bit of an issue, because before we were a tremendous defensive team, and now we're kind of a middle-of-the-road defensive team after losing a few defensive stars. So, and a few in the pitching area as well. So, obviously, this season starting out much different from the way the season started before. But at 500, I won't sit here and complain as a team who has lost 2 World Series. This is not something I want to be accustomed to, but yet it's something that you learn to kind of expect a little bit. I'm sure other teams and other sports can relate. So that's just an example of what it feels like down here. But nonetheless, we still love our team. We love baseball down here. It's actually a very big part of our culture here in Central South Florida. And it no matter what happens, we're going to love our team, okay? We're going to love them, all right? Unless they leave, then we're going to be sad. But 500 right now doesn't look too bad. They were able to get to 500 after a win against the Rockies today, and they also win that series, 2-1 series win for them. The Rockies won the first game. It wasn't close. I think it was like 10-2, and then the Rays came back 8-6, and now today they were able to win 3-2 to close out that series. Now the Rockies are 2-8, which means before the one against the Rays they were 1-7. So it just goes to show you that 1-6. It just goes to show you that, my apologies, that the team is struggling to find itself, right? Rockies aren't exactly playing good baseball, nor have they really been playing good baseball in recent memory. And when your team is struggling, it makes you ask questions, especially when you get ready to head into some games against teams like the Angels, which have a tremendous upside. Now, the Angels just got throttled by the Red Sox, which is good and bad. It's good because, obviously, they're coming off of a loss, and you're going to be able to take advantage of that a little bit. It's not good because, well, we have to play the Red Sox, and if they're being the Angels 17-5 or whatever the score was, I only saw it briefly, so forgive me, guys. But when the Red Sox are doing that usually means that they're gonna be playing good baseball, which is bad news for the Rays. Okay, now as a Rays fan, let me be the first one to tell you, the Yankees, mwah, we love you. It's like y'all have a second home. For those of you who've been to Tampa, if you've been to the Ray J, then you saw across the street Steinbrenner Field. We literally are the second home for the New York Yankees. There are so many transported New Yorkers, New Yorkers down here, including my mother. Okay, shout out, Mom. I love you. I love you to pieces. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like, New Yorkers kind of got a second home when it comes to the Yankees, and yes, we're impartial. We still love the Yankees. We're not the Red Sox or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that it so far it's been about as good as it's going to be for us right now as Rays fans. But like I said, next game is going to be against the Angels. The Angels are rocking a 5-4 record. That game comes to you tomorrow at 8:39 p.m. Who put the 39 bit together? I don't know. Maybe they were just like, 9:30 is too early. Let's make it 8 minutes later. Whatever logic they were using, 9:38 is start time. It's probably going to be 9:45. Y'all know how it goes for, well, I was about to say for baseball, but really just about every sport is like that, actually. If they tell you the game's going to start at 8:25, it's really starting at 8:30, right? So just be prepared for that, guys. But 8:39 be the time that we were listed as for the start time for that game. That's PM, of course, like I said, so it's going to be a slightly later game. If you guys are going to be watching the Raw after WrestleMania, I would encourage you guys turn Raw on first, because that's going to be on at 8. And then just go back and forth from there if you want to see some Rays baseball. They're 2-2 in the last 4, and they're sitting at 500. So, like I said, I really think that the success of this team is going to be based off of how well they're able to gel together after losing, some serious stars, some serious talent that they had on this team last year that we just don't possess this team, okay? And that's just something else to take in consideration. I don't know how this team is going to perform. It's too early still to see, but we're hoping for the best, always hoping for the best with our Rays. And, again, like I said, we'll have to wait and see as the season starts to progress and go further. Hopefully Randy Rosarina becomes the same man that he was, or at least a similar man to what he was last year as far as baseball terminology is concerned. He was an absolute offensive wizard last year, and we're going to need him to be again this year if he's going to be successful, let alone if the Rays are going to be successful. Obviously, the success of him is going to be equal to the success of this team, along with the Lau and, the regular suspects that you would see on the Rays, guys. So, shout out to the Rays, though, guys. Good job on the win today. Let's try to get some more. And like I said, next series is going to be against the Angels, so get ready for that again tomorrow, 9:38 p.m., just in case you're wanting to check that out. So now, Ricky, let's see what you got to say, my brother. Let's see. AL East, outside of Toronto, has looked pretty good so far. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part about what's going on right now in baseball. That's the fun part, really. It's always been a closely packed assembly of star power in the AL East. I mean, Boston, New York, Toronto, as you mentioned, the Rays, the Orioles. These teams, man, they just, it's a heavyweight fight between any one of those teams whenever they get together, especially in a playoff series, right? Because we've seen dramatic things happen, like the Rays clinch against the Yankees on the last game of the season. We've seen both Boston and New York knock each other out at the final game of the regular season or in the first series of the playoffs. So it's such a tremendous, division that when the teams look good, you expect these kind of outcomes, right? So I'm super excited to see what happens. Obviously, I think the Yankees are gonna do Yankee things, and Boston's playing tremendous baseball at the moment, or at least they were playing tremendous baseball against the Angels, and we'll see if they're able to continue that. But what a division, right? What a division for baseball, and I love to see it personally. Like I said, I love to see it. The only teams that I really don't like are Boston, And it's just out of rivalry, right? Like, it's not like I have hate for the team. They've had players that I've greatly admired, but I'm a Ray. You know, I am a Tampa Bay Devil Ray, whatever, and I like the Yankees. So I kind of just can't like Boston because of that, you know. So, but yeah, you know, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. For those of you who are not watching WrestleMania, Bayley just defeated Io Sky to reclaim the WWE Women's Championship. Congratulations to her. Always been a huge fan of Bayley. Always loved her. Always thought she was a beautiful talent there in WWE. So congratulations, Bayley. You deserve it. And what a story you've told over the last year. So, congratulations to her. So, back to Florida sports, though, guys. So, we've covered most of everything so far. If there's something that you guys think that I'm missing, go ahead and send me a message or hit me up wherever on Twitter, on Instagram, something else that I may have to look into. But in the meantime, between time, let's cover the last bit of what sports we do have available to us here in Florida, which would be in the NHL, where we happen to have not one, but 2 playoff teams, guys. That's correct. We house 2 of the very best teams in all of NHL hockey. Really, the world has to offer. A team that I am extremely proud of and I love to rep. And actually, speaking of repping, I actually need to get me some more Orlando Magic, some Lightning gear, because I actually grew out of the Lightning gear that I did have. So, but in the meantime, while I'm doing that, guys, our Bolts, they just clinched 2 days ago, I believe it was. Congratulations to our Bolts again for clinching the umpteenth time in their existence a playoff berth. They do so right now currently with a record of 43, 27, and 7. Doing a good job staying out of the OTL, all right? Doing a very good job throughout this time, this year, of staying out of the OTL. And that's something that I think really played a part for them. Only 7 games in the OTL, that's good compared to some of these other teams that we see. Case in point, a team that they lost to in the Penguins, and Penguins aren't a bad team, they're just not a great team, right? So, but the Penguins, they rock a 36-30-11 record, right? And you can kind of see how that 11 is hurting them a little bit, because anything that's not a W is essentially an L, right? Like, that's the mindset you kind of have to have. There are times when the OTL looks better than a L, but it really only looks better when you're plus, right? And I don't just mean +6, because it's not really +6 when you factor in the 11. You split it down the middle, it's not a good look, right? It's not a good look as it would be if it was like the Rays record at a 43, 27, and 7. So congratulations to those boys clinching over at the 4th spot. We love you, Bolts. Of course, like I said, they lost to the Penguins. That was a 5-4 ball puck game. My apologies there, guys. But like I said, clinching the playoffs makes it all worth it. They were going to need a break anyway, so hopefully they're able to get healthy. Well, they're pretty healthy at the moment, but hopefully they're able to get prepared for this playoff run, as we only have 5 games left in the season. So that's the other thing to take into consideration, guys. There's only 5 games left in the season, and I really hope that you guys take the time out to go look at these teams and see what they're going to have to offer moving forward. Real quick update here at WrestleMania, guys. The stars are out here. Travis Kelce was there. My bad, not Travis, but older brother Kelce was there last night. They just showed T-Pain. Shout out T-Pain. We love T-Pain. Repping Florida always. Vanessa Hudgens is out there. That was a Disney movie crush for those of you who remember her. So is Lily Saint. For those of you who do not know, she is a world famous YouTuber and has done videos with a bunch of people, including The Rock. So a lot of stars out there for WrestleMania this weekend. Absolutely electric what's going on there tonight. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the highlights whenever you get the chance, guys. But so we talked about the Bolts, right? And for reference, the next game that's coming up right now for them is going to be against the Blue Jackets. That game is, guess when? Just take a guess, guys. Just take a guess. That's right, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, April 9th, 7 p.m., just in case you want to see the next game that the Bolts are going to be playing against the Blue Jackets. Like I said, Tuesday, April 9th, 7 p.m. You got 3 games coming at you within an hour. It's actually going to be 4, because wait till I talk to you about the next game. And as I do that, if you're watching WrestleMania, Snoop Dogg just came onto the screen. Shout out Snoop Dogg. I'm pretty sure he's going to rip it out. What a phenomenal guy that man is, right? And he's been with WWE for a long time, off and on, always helping out with what they have going on. So it's always a pleasure to see him. But so the Panthers, right? So as I mentioned before, 2 teams, all right, out of Florida have clinched the playoffs already. One is the Tampa Bay Bolts, Lightning Bolts to be exact. They clinch out of 4, but guess who's at 2, guys? The Panthers. The Panthers. So, the Florida Panthers, they're rocking the 2 spot. They've played tremendous hockey. I'd be remiss to tell you they're not one of the best 3 teams in the league right now this year. Obviously, we've seen the Bruins play some tremendous hockey this year. And there have been a couple of teams that have kind of shaked things up. And when you're talking about from a consistency perspective, watching Florida play hockey this year and watching what they've been able to do to the Bolts. And that's the other thing. When you look at that head-to-head matchup, yes, the Bolts have been able to collect some wins against the Panthers, but the Panthers has played the Bolts extremely well. They've knocked them out of the playoffs recently. It's just one of those things that you look at and you say, okay, this is just one team making another team better, and you love to see it within your state because even though it's a rivalry, you also know that respect factor is there, knowing that either one of these teams at any point could knock out the other, and you love to see it. You really, really love to see it, guys. Personally, I enjoy this kind of rivalry. That's part of the reason why I'm a huge into college football, because the rivalries. One rivalry that I love to watch, let's step away from the SEC for a second. For those of you who watch the Red River rivalry or the Iron Ball. Now, the Iron Ball is SEC, but it's SEC West, right? So it's Alabama versus Auburn. Those are 2 teams that you really don't know, and it almost doesn't matter what their record is going into the game. Those 2 teams play each other extremely hard. Red River rivalry. Last year, it might have been game of the year. For those of you who watched Texas, Oklahoma last year, you can't tell me that game was not phenomenal. Okay, it was absolutely one of the best college football games I personally have ever watched. Cover to cover, right? So it was phenomenal. I am so happy that Texas has joined the SEC, and I can't wait to see how those rivalry games shake up. I say all that, guys, to say it's like that between the Bolts and the Panthers. Now, again, the Panthers rocking the 2 spot and already clinching. It just goes to show you that iron sharpens iron, right? Because even though the Panthers are playing tremendous hockey, the Bolts have been to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, and they won 2 of them, all right? Neither one of these teams are slack-offs, and neither one of these teams are teams that you can just go into the playoffs and think, oh, we're just going to beat them by sheer playing better hockey. That's not going to work. That's just not going to get it done against either of these 2 teams, and I'm proud to have these teams here in Florida, guys. But as I mentioned before, Panthers clinching at number 2. They were able to beat the Senators 6-0. That game was last night, I think it was. It was either last night or earlier today. But the point that I'm making behind it is that that's also going to be the next game that they play is going to be against the Senators, okay? So the Panthers rocking a 48-24-6 record. Again, keeping those OTLs down and keeping the W's up, right? That's a trend that you're going to see in some of these successful teams. Almost every single one of these teams that's making the playoffs has a record that looks similar to that. Okay, and that's the point here, okay? Again, 48-24-6 is good enough for number 2 in the East. They're already clinched. They're good to go. They're going to be playing, again, the Senators. Guess when, guys? Again, just take a hypothetical hyperdrive into deep space kind of guess. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, April 9th. Okay, I'm pretty sure all of the sports board, and there's no NFL, let's just throw all the games at the same time. Let's screw it. Just throw them all together. There's nothing else. They're going to watch this, they're going to watch that, they're going to watch both, okay? But now you don't have to worry about the NFL. They just put it on there, Monday Night Football, and they leave it there, right? So Tuesday is going to be a busy day for you guys. Check out a whole bunch of Florida sports for those of you who are wanting to watch it. Of course, Tuesday for me is going to be a pretty free day, so I'm going to be checking out all of those games, or at least the games that I get to watch, I will be checking out, and I'll follow the others on ESPN, guys. To wrap up what's going on with the Panthers, they're 3-3 in the last 6, but again, they already clinched. They have 4 games left, so 1 less game to play than the Bolts do. It's not going to change much. I think they're going to stay at 2. I don't think they really have to worry too much because they play the Senators again. I think they're going to win that game again, and that means it's going to put them 3 games left. They need to win one of those games, and they don't have to worry about moving from 2 if they do. So congratulations to the Panthers on clinching. Congratulations to the Bolts on clinching. Can't wait to see how these teams perform in the playoffs, but you know they're not going to be any easy teams, no easy marks to beat. You're going to have to bring your A game, and I personally can't wait to see if these 2 teams match up against each other. I'm hoping that that's the case because I want the Bolts to get a series victory in the playoffs over the Panthers. I want them to do that, but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of history there. So I think it's better if they do get a chance to play each other than versus either one of them being knocked out by a different team. I feel like we're just missing something, right? Like we're missing a heavyweight fight that we all want to see, right? Like who wouldn't want to see Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson, right? Well, it's similar to that in the hockey sense here. So, but at the end of the day, congratulations again. That's what's in order right now. Both of these teams, like I said, been playing tremendous hockey over the last few years, and the Bolts couldn't make Tampa Bay more proud than they already have. So congratulations, boys. Keep up the good work. I look forward to talking about more victories for you guys next week on the next edition of Palm Tree Sports Radio, which leads me to my outro, guys. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. And Gen B, you make a great point. Hey, in all respect to you, go Blue Jackets. Do what you guys got to do. We'll see who the better team is that night. But I understand also, too, that there is a lot. Yelling at DVR, hey, listen, set a timer for this. Record this. Do this. You got, let's see here, guys. Let's see what you got. You got two NBA games, all right, on Tuesday night, right? 7:30 be the first start time for Miami's game, and then Orlando's going to be 8. You have Rays baseball tomorrow, so you get a break there, but that's, if you're watching any other sports that will be coming on for your region, then you also have to take that in consideration. If you're going to be watching Monday Night Raw, you're going to have the Raw after WrestleMania. That's going to be crazy. So, then you fast forward again another day, and you got 2 more hockey games coming your way between 2 teams that have clinched. They're going to give you a good look at what the playoffs are going to look like, at least coming from the East side. So, definitely a lot to look into there. Of course, the men's Final Four is going to be wrapping up as well, or championship, I should say, is going to be wrapping up pretty shortly as well. So, a lot of sports coming to a head right now. Of course, baseball back in full swing again. And then for those of you who are watching the UFL, there's been some good games on there. I was watching the game earlier today, Houston versus DC, and that game was going down to the wire. It was 10 minutes left, and it was a 3-point ball game, and then there was a change of possession. There's just so much going on right now, so much to be excited about. So if you are looking for Florida sports, look no further than Monday and Tuesday, and you guys will get your fair share and your helping of it. But again, I really thank you guys for joining me here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. I couldn't be more excited to bring to you this information that we have for you. And as we continue to move forward into the future, guys, for those of you who are watching WrestleMania, get ready for the main event as Cody Rhodes descends upon WrestleMania and gets ready to make his walk. Him versus Roman Reigns. Gonna be an absolute banger, guys. For those of you who do not know, Cody Rhodes is gonna win. How? I'm sure I don't know. He'll probably have some help from Jay. His wife is here with him, so that's probably going to be a wild card too. So, congratulations to Cody ahead of time. And for those of you who are watching, I really hope you enjoy the show. I look forward to talking to you guys about it on Twitter or here next week. And also the rest of what's going on with Florida sports. We'll get that covered next week. Until then, guys, enjoy your time. Spend your time with your family. Make sure you guys cherish every second. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. There's a lot going on in this world. There's a lot to be scared of. There's a lot to be happy for. But just remember to live life. Life is a game that's worth being played, and it is the ultimate game. It's a game where you can find love, you can find success, but you can also find hurt and pain. And the trick is just to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. It's taken me 30 years to learn that, but the truth to the matter is it's a great lesson to learn, and you're never too old to learn it. So keep on keeping on, you guys. I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Thank you to all of you guys who were able to join the show and the chat today. Dad, shout out to you. I know you're somewhere listening. I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful week. You too, Mom. To Junior, I love you, my son. You're everything to me, and I hope one day that you will tell me that I made you proud. And that's my only hope for you, my son, as you continue to grow. So for those of you who are experiencing the same thing, I send love and prayers out to your families. Again, have a wonderful week, and I look forward to speaking to you guys same time, same place next week. Have a wonderful evening. Stay blessed. Love you all. Bye.